Hey. Welcome back, everybody. Another day, another podcast. This week we're talking about uh possibly another one of my favorite games ever. One that I gave rave reviews to and nobody gave a fuck about, and that kind of broke my heart. We're talking about Alien Isolation. And I know what everybody's thinking. They're like, oh, boring, yeah, walking, yeah. I'm gonna stop you right there. And I'm gonna tell you why and how you're wrong, and how I'm right as always, and you should go and play the game if you haven't played it already. Uh let's do it in sort of a point by point basis. Point one, we're gonna talk about the gameplay. Point two, we'll probably talk about the sound design. Point three, we'll probably talk about fun, how much fun, at least how much fun I had playing it. And then I'll probably ramble, you know me. That's my sort of traditional style, rambling. I'm doing it now. There's no script here. I could like pick up a piece of paper. Look, this is my portfolio. Oh, I'm flipping through what I wrote down for this. It was a Chinese takeout menu. I didn't write anything for this. All right, let's get into it. Alien Isolation. Again, one of my favorite fucking games of all time. Here's why. It created an atmosphere unlike any game I have ever seen. It scared the hell out of me. I'm just going to say it. And the reason it scared me was because it played with sound, light, shadow, and in close quarters in such a way. And it's been done before, tons of times. But Alien Isolation really did it. And I think no game has done it the same since. And I feel like they should. Because Alien Isolation really, in my opinion, set the bar for that sort of horror. And I think what separates it from most walking simulators is that it equips you with tons of tools to sort of survive in the area around you. Like it's not a Outlast sort of game. I know I talked about Outlast in the last episode, but I'm going to use it a lot as a reference when I talk about these first-person games because I truly like Outlast 2. I'll probably do an episode on that. But no, it's not like Outlast, where you are in this close quarters, sometimes not close quarters, and every enemy you see will rip your fucking head off. It's not like that. Like in Alien Isolation, it's like, all right, here you are, you're on this space shuttle. The shuttle's been rocked by an explosion right in the beginning of the game. You're separated from your team. Classic horror stuff. You know, Resident Evil 2 started with an explosion, and you're separated from Claire. This starts with an explosion. You're separated from an android, Samuels. There it is, Samuels, and Taylor, some fucking crony from lawyer type in a suit, not used to space travel. And you find yourself in the destroyed part of the ship, and immediately, you know, something's amiss. All the power's down. Shit's all fucked up. There's explosions, there's scratches and shit everywhere. Just that alone, having that be the first thing you see when you enter the Sevastopol station where the whole game takes place. Having strewn luggage and like spray paint and like looter shit written all over the walls, like, you know, you're gonna fucking die, or screw Wailing Utani, or screw Seekson, or whatever. Just seeing that first, like putting yourself in the shoes of Amanda. Having that be the first thing you see when you go to the ship where supposedly, you know, your mother left her flight recorder. You know, the plot of the game is you're Amanda Ripley. You're the daughter of Ellen Ripley, the main character of the Alien franchise. And it's been 17 years or so since her mother went missing. And she's looking for her. She wants to find her mom, which is understandable. So you're brought on by the Season Corporation android named Samuels, who tells you, look, we found a flight recorder from the Nostromo, which is the ship from the first movie. You know, where Ellen is at the end talking about it. And it ends on her monologue, actually. The movie ends with the monologue that they find, that they dangle over the daughter to come, hey, look, you know, you need some closure. She's probably dead, but at least you can hear her voice one last time. You know, that's weird, but that's what it was. So, you know, you're on this ship, and supposedly your mother's last words are on this ship, and you're greeted with fucking ripped up suitcases and bloody shit, and something's clearly amiss when you're here. So, you know, you start at the beginning of the game, you're just walking around, you go through a vent, you tumble down a ripped up floor paneling with like fire and shit shooting out of it. And the first man you meet is some guy named Axel. And he tells you, look, there's a killer on board. I haven't seen it, but it's picking us off. Everyone's running scared. It's clear by what the game really makes clear is by showing you all the suitcases and all like the body bags and all the locked parts of the station and where people have been hiding, that the alien threat has been on this ship for longer than a day. It's been here for quite some time, and the only reason it hasn't made it back to Earth or whoever wants their hands on it this time is because the ship broke down. You know, because there's a fucking alien on board and killed everyone almost. So immediately you're like, how have these people been surviving? Like, you think back to Aliens with Newt, where they enter her room and it's just trash and shit and everywhere. That's sort of the situation on this whole ship, where small pockets of people have been surviving with heavy artillery. There's a group of mercenaries basically on board. Well, workers turned mercenaries, or like the guy Axel you meet, stealth and hiding and just being really quiet. So the alien has been stalking the ship. You get onto the ship. You haven't seen it yet, you know, and this is really important. You don't see the alien until about 30 minutes into the game. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot for a game as long as Alien is, but it really, really, really creates tension. And when I say tension, I mean all through the beginning of the game, there's like light bulbs breaking over your head, shit tumbling over because it's stacked improperly. There's loud sounds to spook you. When you meet Axel, there's a scene where you got to crawl through a vent, and he's looking for another vent. He gives you a flashlight, like, hey, go check it out. And it's pitch black. It's pitch black, and it's scary because the whole time you're thinking, am I going to get gripped up by a fucking xenomorph? And anybody who's watched the Alien series, which I think is everybody at this point, if you haven't watched it, stop listening to this podcast, press pause, go watch those movies, come back, and then you'll be able to appreciate me rambling about the Alien series with you'll truly be able to understand why it's so amazing to me. So, go do that. And when you come back, join the rest of us. But as for those of us who have seen it, you're walking around this game for 30 plus minutes. Now, in those 30 minutes, you encounter the Sevastopol Station androids, like the Bishop series, but clearly androids. They're called Working Joes. And they have glowing red eyes, synthetic skin. They wear like orange prison jumpsuits, and they don't do anything to you as long as you follow the rules. They just on the ship. But they are an enemy type in the game. And you find that out because whoever discovered the aliens this time around programmed the ship's AI to ensure nothing harms the specimen and to get the ship back to where they want it. So there's a graffiti about them called, and I think it's one of the scariest aspects of the Working Joes, is you always know a Working Joe. I know that doesn't sound scary, but if you play the game and you're in these tight quarters and you're walking and you get the classic motion tracker from Aliens, the boop boop, the little fucking green screen, you get that in this game. And if you see motion on your screen, you think, oh fuck, it's a Xeno, I'm dead. No, it's just a Working Joe. And you're like, oh okay, but no, not okay, because if they see you, they're gonna break your neck. Literally, they'll grab you and break your neck. Now you can fight the Working Joes. You get a wrench early on. The wrench doubles as a weapon and a tool. It allows you to break open certain doors in the game. So another thing about the game that is really amazing, every single door in the game is a mini game. I guess if your whole game is about crouching through vents and opening doors, you got to make that fun. So all the doors in the game, from like the main sequence doors for cutscenes, or just little doors you will go in to find like bullets or something like that, are open via minigame. And the minigames are played via the tools you find around the ship. There's an ion torch where you have to cut a door open. There's the maintenance jack, which is the wrench that you use to attack enemies and rip a door handle off. And there's like two other ones. There's ones you play on a computer that are like Pong type shit. There's a radio frequency thing. The whole game, all the doors are mini games, and it's great. Anyway, back to the atmosphere. So you spend the first 30 minutes just scared as hell. You're crouched. You're walking around. You got Axel for about 10 of these minutes, and he basically is a tutorial to introduce you to the flashlight. He introduced you to ducking and hiding from enemies. There's a part where you're in a room and two guys with machine guns walk up, and he tells you stop, duck, and you duck, and he tells you to peek over and you're introduced to the peek mechanic. There's a peeking mechanic where you're behind something. You can hold L and look in any direction, and enemies won't see you because you're peeking, but you can see them. And he introduces you to your battery life, because your flashlight has a battery. If you use the flashlight too much, it will die, and you'll be scared because it'll be dark. So there's a section, you're for first 30 minutes in, you're with Axel, you're crouching, you evade these group of people. They catch up to you. Axel shoots and kills one of them. And that's terrifying for Amanda because I guess it's the first time she saw somebody die. There's a cutscene where Axel is telling her, look, this is about survival. And then the xenomorph shows up, spears him through the chest and drags him through a pipe. You don't see it. You just see its tail. Once again, you haven't seen the creature yet, but you are very aware of its existence. And I think that is terrifying because I've seen the movies. And in the movies, it's like Ellen Ripley is very scared in 2. In 1, she's just a worker or whatever. And then the whole alien shit happens and everyone's terrified. In 2, she's seen it already, but she's still horrified. And I think this game went for 1, where the whole game is about stealth and really hiding and shit. But it gives off the feel of 2 in a sense, because there is action in this game. Like, there is a lot of action in this game. It's just broken up into parts. It's not just constantly like Colonial Marines, or you got fucking unlimited ammo basically. And it's not that. It's not that game. This is a stealth horror game at its finest. So once Axel's dragged off, Amanda's left alone on this ship. That was her only companion. But the objective remains the same. Find the android Samuels, find the suit crony Taylor, get off the ship at this point. So about midway through, you find the flight recorder, but the data is purged. So this was a waste of a trip. So Amanda, understandably upset, was like, fuck it, we out. So at this point, she's trying to hail her ship that they came in on, called the Torrens. She's trying to hail the ship to get off. She encounters Samuels again. She encounters Taylor. She learns that Taylor has been wounded in the explosion that separated them in the beginning and can't move. She needs medical attention. Now the objective becomes get Taylor medical attention to get off the ship. The objective constantly changes throughout the game. The main objective being don't die. So you make your way back to the main living quarters or elevator quarters. And on your way back, there's an alarm going off. Working Joes have been activated to kill you, so you have to fight or evade them. Once you turn off the alarm and reestablish radio contact, this is when the alien is introduced. Then it's introduced in a cutscene. It lands on a table above you. And so she ducks under the table. And it's really tense and it's really scary because if it just touches you, it's going to know you're there. So its tail drags across the ground. And she's terrified. And then it just walks away. And you're like, oh my God, I've seen it. Now the character and you have seen it. You knew it was there, but now you've seen it. And it gets immediately under your skin. If you're not made of stone, it gets immediately under your skin because you just spent the last 30 minutes knowing it was there, seeing signs that it has killed many people, seeing it kill a man, and now it's there. So what I think is really cool about that part in the game is once the character has seen the Xeno, it is now in the game. Because it wasn't in the game before. You could spend the first 30 minutes running around, every part of the ship available to you, and you would never see it. But now, since the character has seen it, it's in the game, it's an enemy AI, and it's out to kill you. Well, it's out to kill anything moving, really, except the working Joes, the androids, because they're synthetics, and don't give a fuck about them. So you go back to the opening, one of the open areas of the game where these people were trying to kill you earlier. They're still there if you didn't kill them. If you avoided them, they're still in that room. But guess what? So's the xenomorph. And it is killing all of them. Your objective at this point is to get out of the room alive. When I first played the game, I was like, oh shit, look. And I looked over the railing because it's a second floor. I was on the second floor and I looked down and it was killing the people. It made short work of them. Looked up, immediately saw me. Here's the scariest thing about the game. If the xenomorph sees you, unless you are adequately armed, and I mean with a flamethrower or a Molotov cocktail, because fire scares it away, unless you are adequately armed with those two weapons, or I guess the shotgun, because with 4 shots, I think it runs away. You can't kill it, but 4 shots spooks it. Unless you have those guns or those tools, you're going to die. So if the xenomorph makes eye contact with you and you don't break that eye contact, and I don't mean you got to be looking at each other, if it sees you, even if you don't see it, you're going to die. And that right there is why I think Alien Isolation is the scariest game ever made. Because there's an enemy in it, the alien, that if it just sees you, you're dead. And I experienced that firsthand in that scene when I looked down over the railing and I saw it killing them. I was like, oh shit, it's killing them. I gotta get the fuck out of here. It immediately saw me, turned around and started running. And it's not just running, the ground shakes and the camera shakes when it starts running. And you hear boom, boom, boom. It's thunderous. And it's coming for you. And it's going to kill you when it catches you. And each death is an animation. It's a different animation for how it kills you. It can kill you many, many ways. But each death really is really scary because you lose complete control of your character. It's in first person, so you're seeing it as it happens. And it'll like stab you through the chest or little mouth your head open. Or sometimes it's hiding in a vent and it'll just grab you and pull you up into the vent. And I won't lie, it terrified me. I remember playing and getting to a part where I had to go downstairs, but it had saw me. It had saw me. I was in this big spiral stairwell. And it saw me going down the steps. And I heard it see me because the music changes when it sees you. So I started bolting. I just bolted down the fucking steps. You can run, but you can't outrun it. I had a head start. So I started running. I just took off and it was lockers right at the bottom of the steps. And you can hide. So I jumped into the locker really quickly and I stayed in the locker. And sure enough, seconds later, there it was, thundering past the locker, just walking past. Now, the cool thing about the AI is the more tools you use to hide from the alien, the smarter it gets. So if you've spent a majority of the game hiding from this creature, it'll start opening lockers. Luckily for me at this point, I didn't. I think I had never gotten into a locker up until that point. But since it didn't have the key in to open lockers, it just sort of stalked the area of the locker. And I won't lie to you guys, I sat in that locker for an hour, real time, like real life. I made a sandwich. I got a Coke, some Pepsi. It was great. It really took the tension out of it for me because I was enjoying my nice sub and I had my drink. But it was there on the TV, stalking back and forth, fucking thunderous footsteps every step. That was the scariest thing I've ever experienced in a video game. And I pride myself on horror games and horror in general. I'll do some horror genre shit later, but I really, really love horror, like as a genre altogether. I think it's the best genre. I don't think anything can change my mind on it unless somebody presents me with a stellar argument as to why it's not. But I think it's the best genre universal. That's movies, music, video games, all of it. I think that horror takes the cake. And so that moment for me was, it was one of the crowning jewels, I think. No, because what it felt like, it didn't feel like if it caught me, I'd have to start from the last save point. That's another thing. Save points are few and far in between. If you die in this game, you have to start from the last save point. And they are not close together. It's not a situation where you'll save and 5 minutes later there's another save point. No. It's 15 or 20 minutes later there's another save point. And that's not an exaggeration. I've timed it. There's saves, except in the beginning where there's like 5 right after each other, I think, to get you used to saving. Right after that, no, sir. You're saving very few and far in between. And that alone is scary because you're like, my fucking progress will be deleted if it catches me and kills me. And that's fucked up. So yeah, I stayed in that locker for an hour. And the locker story has a funny ending because while I was in the locker, I was like, all right, I'm going to wait till it walks to the right. And then I'm just going to leave no matter what. Fuck it. I'm going to get out of the locker. I don't give a fuck. Right. So it walks to the left. And I was like, all right, it's going to go back to the right. And because there's a hall right outside, it's going to go down that hall. I'm going to leave the locker. I'm going to be safe. I'm out of here. So it goes to the right. I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm about to get out of the locker. It comes back slightly. I'm like, wait, why is it coming back? Opens the fucking locker and kills me. So I sat an hour in the locker for no reason. And that broke my heart because I was like, God damn it. So yet again, I played that part. This time I made sure not to be seen. I went about my business and I continued on in the game. But yeah, there's a lot of tools in the game. There's like weapons. 4 weapons if you count the Molotov. There's your shotgun, a pistol, the wrench, the Molotov cocktail. Oh, and the flamethrower, the classic flamethrower. You get that. And later in the game, I just remember using it as a tool to scare the Xeno. to shoot fire out in front of it, because as I said, the flamethrower scares it. So if you shoot a wave of fire near it, it'll retreat into one of the vents. But keep in mind, the ship is built on vents. So I remember I was playing with my brother, and I had the flamethrower or Molotov, and there it was. It saw me and it was running toward me. So I threw the Molotov at the ground, and it streaked like, "God, son of a bitch, god damn it!" And it jumped up into a vent. I was like, "Yeah." A second later, because I was in a room when it saw me, the vent above me, it landed down behind me, and I didn't have any Molotovs, and it instant killed me. I was like, well, that was, and me and my brother laugh about that constantly because it was just so fucking random. There's a lot going on in the game. You later in the game, I think chapter 9 or something like that, I think a lot of people complain about its runtime. It is long, and I only started to feel fatigue right like 15 minutes from the end, though. That's because I'm just like, when I want to do something, I power through it. But yeah, you begin to feel how long it is near the end. Like, Jesus, this isn't over yet. You know, I remember thinking that one time toward the end, there's a part where you go to a reactor. There's always a reactor in the Alien movies. And you go to a reactor, and lo and behold, there's a fucking queen down there birthing the aliens. And oh, you thought it was one Xeno chasing you in the whole game? That's hundreds. And now that you've woken up the reactor and are about to overload it, now in the game, it's represented in the game, because before in the game, there was one xenomorph, to your knowledge, and it was stalking you, and you would scare it away. After that scene, there could be multiple on the screen at once. And when that happened to me, I almost shit my pants, because I was like, oh, you fucking serious? Because I just spent the whole game running and dying from one. Now there's more than one, and they have their different attack patterns and different AI patterns, and they'll hunt you down. They'll hunt you down and they will kill you. And it's fucked up, because toward the end of the game, you've pretty much used all your options, your ammo. Luckily for me, I spent the whole game not really hiding. Not hiding in the traditional sense. So toward the end of the game, I was just using flares, because the flares is another cool thing. If you light a flare and throw it, the alien will see it and walk over to it to investigate it. If you haven't used them. If you use too many, they'll know it's just light and ignore it and come after you. But since I never used them, I remember there was a particular scene where there was a door at the end of the hall with 4 rooms intersecting. So think of a long hall. To the right, there's a door. To the left, there's a door. There's a 5-minute pause. To the right, there's a door. To the left, there's a door. So I'm at the end of the hall, and I need to get to the door at the far end. And there's a xenomorph between me and that door. And I remember I was like, okay, I know the Xeno's in here somewhere, but if I get to that door, it'll change scenes and I'll escape. Because if you go through a door or elevator, the Xeno's reset somewhere in the area. So I was like, all right, I'm going to live. Fuck this. I took off running. Big mistake. And immediately saw me, and I heard the thunderous footsteps. In about 1 second or 2 seconds, I was going to die. So I said, fuck it. I lit a flare and threw it Jurassic Park style, the opposite way, and I went behind a wall and ducked. And this was the gamble. Will it chase me around the corner? Because it was right behind me. I wasn't really hiding. I just ducked behind a little ledge thing. Or will it T-Rex it up and go for the fucking flare? Luckily for me, Spielberg was on my side, and it T-Rexed it. It was like, oh, what the fuck is that? Because I never used the flare before. And I think if you never use these items, and if you never really take advantage of it, the game needs to show you that it can be done. So it chasing me was overwritten by the fact that I never used the flare. So I threw the flare, it looked at it, it went into the other room. I like peeked around fucking timidly, like, oh, was it there? And there it was, sure enough, sniffing and like poking like a cat at something it didn't understand. And I just got back up and walked out of the room. And that was a triumph for me. I rode that wave for like the rest of the game. I was like, yeah, I'm a fucking badass. You see that shit? I'm Alan Grant, bro. T-Rex, fuck him. The whole thing. It was great. Yeah. There's a lot. And I think moments like that, to me, sell the game. And what really bums me out is a lot of my friends or a lot of people I know value my opinion on a lot of stuff like movies, video games, because I like to give unbiased opinions. I don't like go in thinking something's going to be great. I let it prove itself by its merit. And I think Alien Isolation really, really is great. And there's a lot of shortcomings. But this is not what the podcast is about. I'm not going to talk about its shortcomings. I'm going to talk about how good it is. But it does have them, and you'll feel them. The length of it is one of them. If I got to mention one shortcoming, it's too long. Because after a while, length will take you out of something. I spent a lot of the game scared, but toward the end, the fear sort of dissipated. It took a back burner to me just wanting to finish the game, because it is a video game. It's not a movie where it can be designed and structured in a way that even if it's long, it can keep you scared. It's a video game. It's interactive. I'm playing it. I'm moving it along. So if I get bored, I lose, I lose what it's trying to teach me. And I only got bored like once, as I said, toward the end. I just was like, oh man, I don't know. Because there's a scene where you go to the alien hive and there's aliens everywhere. And there's no fighting in that scene. You run or you hide. That's the situation there. You can use the flamethrower and stuff to scare them. And there's 3 beacons you got to reach. And every time you press a beacon, sound goes off, drawing them to you. And after that part, I thought the game was over. I was like, oh, sweet. This is the hive scene. I got to get out of here. This is the end of the game. If it's anything like the movies. Nope. It's not over. It wasn't over by a long shot. And I was like, oh, my God. There's once you do the nuclear reactor scene, I thought it was over. Nope. Not over. And I think that was the problem toward the end. But up to that point, though, everything was beautiful. Everything was stellar. As I said, the atmosphere was amazing. It really painted a picture of surviving in fear. Not just from you, but from all the people on the ship. Because there's multiple people. You meet a group of survivors. You meet a group of survivors on the ship. And you work with them to get off the fucking ship. Sadly, none of them make it. Spoilers. None of them make it. Which sucks for them. It's great for you because you don't die. But yeah, no, they got weapons. They got guns. They have their own backstories and reasons why they're accepting your help and why they're not scared. It's great. You regroup with Samuels. The AI on the ship, you talk to the AI named Apollo. And it's like, yeah, fuck you. I've been programmed to keep the alien alive. It's like, but you're programming. It's like, yeah, third law of fucking robotics or whatever. Fuck it. Fuck Isaac Asimov. Who bull? So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's scary. And I want everyone to go and play it. I guess I pretty much run out of things to say about it. I mean, I have tons of things to say about it, but I have a length to keep for my videos here. So I'll end it with saying that I gave this game a great review. I'm not a game reviewer. I did it on my Facebook wall for my friends and family. I know that's lame, but that's what I do. And no one went and played it. And that really upset me, because this is one of the games, and it's by Sega. It was published by Sega. The developers was Creative Assembly, but I think that team split up from during the time of the game and to now. I don't think any of the original members, or maybe 1 or 2 of them who made the game, is even on the same team. So odds of a sequel are looking grim. If they make another one, I don't think Sega will do it. And that's kind of terrible, because they got the rights. They got the blessing of the movie. It's pretty much an alien movie that you play, and that's great. It's not a terrible alien movie like 3 or Resurrection. It's a good alien movie like Alien 1 or Aliens that you just play, and you can't beat that. So if they make another one, I think I hope it'll be good. I really don't want to say it'll be good just because this one was so good. As I said, I gave this a crazy review. I told everybody to go and play it, and no one did. And a few times I got my friends to play it. They'll play it for 15 minutes. But remember, the alien doesn't make an appearance until 30 minutes in. So I was like, you played for 15 minutes, but you didn't really get to experience the horror that is this game. Just knowing that you're going to die. I felt like I, as a person, would die if the alien saw me. That's how effective the fear is. I felt like if it saw me, that me, the player, holding the controller, would die in my recliner chair. That's what I thought. I thought it was over for me. And I spent a lot of the game thinking that. Even toward the end, I was like, fuck, am I going to die? Is this it for me? If it sees me? And, no other game ever has done that. I will say, though, there's a scene, this is a bit of a tangent, but there's a scene in Far Cry 4, or is it 3? Let's say 3. There's a scene in Far Cry 3 where you're infiltrating an enemy camp. And it's a scene for the story. It's not like one of the little camps on the overworld. It's a scene for the story. We're infiltrating an enemy camp, and stealth. You can't be seen. If they see you, the mission's over. If they see a body, the mission's over. And that's tough. Missions like that are tough in a game where you're used to blowing everything up and shooting everything. So I was toward the end of that mission. The objective was maybe 10 meters from me, up a hill. And I was in a bush, and there were 3 enemies near me. Not exactly on the screen, but they were near me. And my cell phone in real life rang on loud. And I was so immersed in that moment that I thought that the enemies would hear my cell phone and come and find me. And I was so mad that my phone was ringing, because I was like, if I get fucking caught. I didn't even think that, oh wait, they can't hear me. That's ridiculous. How could they possibly do that? You know? But, haha, segueing back into Alien, in the beginning of the game, if you go to start a new game, it allows you to play with the PlayStation camera on, meaning it'll track your movement, your physical movement in real life, and it allows you to play with the PlayStation speaker on, meaning guess what? It'll track your fucking sound. So if you're playing and you're hiding from a Xeno and your cell phone does ring, he heard you and he's coming. And you're gonna die because your goddamn friends or whatever wanted to send you a meme of a turkey killing a goose or some stupid shit on Facebook. Now you're dead and you gotta go back to a save point. Did you like that segue? I didn't even practice it. That shit, it flowed so well. You can't see it, but I'm smiling because as I was describing that Far Cry scene, I was like, oh shit, there is a game that does that, and it's the fucking game I'm talking about. Alien Isolation, folks. Jesus, it's amazing. Please go and pick it up. Please go and play it. Come back to my video or my podcast or whatever. Talk about it. Please. I love it. You know, email me. My email's listed. I don't care. It's great. It's really, really great. And I think everyone should go and enjoy it. Thank you. That's my time this week, but next week I'll probably talk about something else, obviously. I don't know. Something cool. Maybe the Call of Duty series. I like Call of Duty. Anyway, thanks guys. See you next episode.